Hi everyone! So I've been having a lot of questions about how I do my meal prep and how I eat on a daily basis. I've been tracking my macros for the past 12 years and I still track it. I've been off track, I've been eating whatever I want. I've been saying I'm tracking my macros but still eating whatever I want at the end of the day. So now I'm being very consistent and I'm excited about this journey. So I'm going to share a little bit of what I'm doing on a daily basis. So I meal prep for 6 meals at a time. And meal prepping is very important because it doesn't leave you to randomness. Like if you know exactly what you're eating every single day, maybe the most challenging part is finding what are your macros for that, and I can help you. But if you figure out, okay, these are the macros I want to stick to, usually we say 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. It could go up to 1.2 grams per pound of body weight. Then you want to have maybe 30% of your diet will be fats and then another 40% for carbs. Again, there's a whole calculation based on your body weight that we can find your macros. You can do that online. You can find a platform. They'll give you some basic macros depending on how active you are, what kind of job you do. So once you have nailed down your macros, and again, you don't need to track your macros for life, but tracking it for at least 3 months will give you a very good understanding of what your body needs. I like to vary my food every single week. I like to create new recipes. I like to explore, venture off, try new ingredients. So for that reason, I still track my macros, and that's why I've been tracking for almost 12 years, because I create new stuff every single time. And you'd ask me, like, I know a banana is about 26 grams. I know an apple is about 20 grams. And I know these metrics. I know the metrics for the elements, and I know what I need or what I can or cannot eat. But you would ask me nowadays, I would still cheat myself. If I don't track my macros every single day, this spoon of yogurt becomes 2 spoons, and now it gets really confusing for me to know, like, I had my scale break down the other day, and I think it's just the batteries were dead, or actually the whole scale. I had to buy a new one. Thank God Amazon Prime got me one very quickly. But for almost it was 2 days, because I thought I could fix it, buy new batteries. So 2 or 3 days, I didn't have a scale. And to be honest, it was so challenging for me. And I've been doing that for so long. And yet I was like, yeah, I think that's about it. And peanut butter, I'm like, yeah, that's about a tablespoon. But it's not precise, right? And I want precise results. If you want like, maybe results, maybe not, then yeah, you can be a little bit more lenient. But if you really want results, I would challenge you for 3 months. You calculate your macros. You calculate every single day. And then meal prep is the way to make it easier. So what I do is I meal prep for 6 meals at a time. If you meal prep for 6 meals, yeah, you're going to eat the same shit for 6 meals. So it better be good. So ideally you want to select recipes that you either know is good, you've done it before, or you select recipes that you really want to try, you're really craving that food, or you just stick to the basics, okay? But I eat the same thing for 6 days at a time, and then I'm excited when it's time to meal prep again. 6 new days of 6 new recipes. I'll usually have 1 pre-workout meal. So I like to train in the morning. So I'll start my day with high protein, at least 30 grams. And I know some people say, okay, I'm gonna start my training fasted. If you're a man, yeah, sure, you can do it. If you're a woman, science says right now, you have to eat before you work out. That's just how it is. You need the fuel. You need to keep your cortisol in check. If you don't eat, it spikes up your cortisol. And for a woman, for the hormones, not ideal. Again, you do what works for you, but I'm just telling you the science. So, pre-workout, at least 15 grams of protein. That's what I think it was Stacy, can't remember her last name, but she came out with an episode really interesting. I'll put the link in the video. So 15 grams of protein, 30 grams of carbs at least, and then close to your training, no fat. You don't need fat. You can have healthy fat later throughout the day, but in the beginning, during the beginning of your day, if you're working out, again, around your workouts, so don't mind me, you can change your window. If you're working out in the evening, same principles apply. But in the morning, let's say I'll work out from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. to master my day. I'll eat breakfast at least 1 hour before. If I can eat an hour and a half before, that's even better. But at least an hour before, so it gives me time to digest. I do some kind of heavy lifting and bodybuilding, so it's not like super taxing in terms of like digestive impact. So if you're doing like CrossFit, you might want to push it to really an hour and a half before, because it might just come up. Or if you're doing some kind of running, something like that. So at least 15 grams of protein, 30 grams of carbs, 0 to no gram of fat. If you have like 3 grams, MC, you ask me, not a big deal. Don't worry about it. If you have 5 grams, 7 grams, not a big deal. Don't worry about it. But just remember, these are the principles. So you don't need fat before and after your workout. Okay. You work out, you had a great pump, you're like to the moon, hormones are flooding around, you're like, woo, dopamine. Now it's time for your post-workout. So post-workout will be carbs, because now your glycogen store completely empty, or a lot emptier. You're gonna want some carbs right after. So you don't wait, like you have something quick. It could be either you make yourself a protein bar. Don't buy that crap. Don't buy the protein bars that are out there and you're like, I don't have time to cook. Then grab a banana or grab some dates, grab a protein shake. Yeah, protein powder. You don't want to rely on protein powder all the time, right? But it is what it is. You want that quick right after. So unless you made yourself a nice little Greek yogurt bowl, it could be a 0% fat Greek yogurt bowl with a bit of banana. That would be a great way to finish off after your training. You'd want, again, at least 30 grams of carbs. Could be a little more, 40 grams. Ultimately, you want 60% of your carb intake before and after your workout, like in that window, okay? And then proteins, you want like a nice 30 to 40 grams of protein right after your training, right after. Again, fats, you don't need fats. So you finish your workout, peanut butter on rice cake, like, yeah, you could do it. Some athletes do it. Some athletes have fats after the workout. But the science right now, what it shows, you don't need it, okay? If you want to have it, it's just, it could slow down the protein synthesis. It could slow down I'm not too sure of the rest of the science. You could search it up, or I can come up with it on the next video. Then that's when I have my first real big meal of the day. So I've had my shake, then I slowly go home. I'll go to work, and then once I'm at work, before I start my shift, I'll have my nice meal. So just before I go back to this third meal now of the day, let's just go back for breakfast so I can give you some ideas of what to start your day with. It could be some oats with a scoop of protein powder in it. It could be some oats that you cooked with egg whites. I love that. That's like my favorite way to start the day. And again, that you can prepare that in advance, and eating it cold is even better. So you can prepare those oats, cook the oats, add the egg white, whisk it, and now you have protein, you have your carbs, okay? It could be just having a couple dates with half a protein shake. There's a lot of options you could have, and you'll see on my channel, I want to post more recipes so that you can have ideas, and the macros will always be in there. So just select the ones that are very low in fat, higher in carbs, and moderate in protein. You can have more than 15 grams of protein. Like this morning, I had 45 grams of protein, 45 grams of carbs, and 0 to no fat, okay? The other thing I like to start my day with is the Ninja Creamy. I love to start my day with ice cream, and it'll be a high protein. It'll be usually my favorite recipe. Super simple. Is just 1 scoop of protein, a cup of oat milk or almond milk, and a banana. That's it. It's so good. So good. So many recipes. I love cooking, and even if you don't like at the moment, you'll just find you gotta find a way to perceive it as this is your fuel. This is what's gonna make you happier, and you have to do it. You just have to do it. You want results? You gotta put in the work, and the more you do it, the more advanced you become at it, the simpler it gets. And if you just stick to the same, let's say you're like, I don't want to cook something different every week. Like, let me just have the same thing. You find your recipes that you like. It might take you a little bit of time in the beginning, but once you master them, you can do your meal prep in like 3 hours. So now I even invent recipes, and I still do my meal preps in 3 hours because now I know what to do to be efficient. I'll start the oven, I'll start the air fryer, I'll start the rice cooker. I have these tools. And yes, you would say, okay, these are maybe, you don't need a lot of kitchen instrument. You could just do with the oven. I'll start something on the stove. I'll start boiling some potatoes or boiling some cauliflower. Then I'll put some salmon in the oven. Then I'll do like many things at the same time that I start. And I'll just juggle through them so that everything kind of progresses at the same time. And by the end of 3 hours, all you need to do is the dishes that I try to do as I go. And then, boom, you're done. 3 hours and a half, usually, completely done, okay? So let's go back. So now you've just worked out. Now it's time for your first meal. This is the time where you want, again, maybe 40 to 50 grams of protein, or 30, depending on how much mass you have, how much what's your weight. Again, 1 to 1.2 grams per pound of body weight. This is what I suggest. This is usually what's in the science. So having that said, you have your protein. So I like to have a nice piece of lean meat. Because again, we're a little further away from the workout, so you might want to have that like in a maximum of a 2-hour window with your workout, because you still need protein, you still need carbs, and little fat because you're still close to that workout window. So again, we're still in that 60% of carb intake. So that's where I'm gonna put some quinoa. I'll have some sweet potatoes, maybe some white potatoes, some rice. These are the moments where I want to have even vegetables that are maybe a little higher in carbs. I might even have some fruits, apple, something more I want to have, and then minimal fat. So maybe I'll have half an avocado, or I'll have a meat that might be a little fattier. Like I'll have maybe some ground turkey. It's still lean, but there's a little bit more fat than like a chicken breast. I might have some eggs or stuff like that, okay? Then you would have 2 more meals. So the fourth one, now we have like let's say the Ninja Creamy ice cream, then you have your protein shake after the workout, then you have your salad with chicken breast and quinoa, sweet potato, maybe some beets in there. Now we're meal number 4. So 4 and 5, it could either be a snack and a meal, or it could be a snack and a meal, or it could be 2 meals. You want to have, I usually select meat that are a little fattier. So now's the time to have your beef, to have maybe some lean ground beef, to have some beef piece, or to have salmon, or if you were to have like something lean like shrimp, then you can have some almonds, avocado. These are healthy fats. You might want to even put some olive oil in there. So it's still going to be protein, little carbs. So now I might go more for vegetables. Maybe I won't put as much rice, as much quinoa. So lighter on the carbs, because now we're really focusing on fiber intake, and that I can't stress enough. When you eat carbs and there is fiber in it, your body doesn't absorb the carbs. Like it doesn't make you fatter. So the more fiber there is, like if you're eating berries, that's why they say berries is so good, because it's so high in fiber. So now you're eating the berries, and instead of like you being more fat from the same amount of carbs that you would eat, let's say, in a sneaker bar. Okay, sneaker is not a good example, but let's say you're eating candy. So we're comparing sugar for sugar. You're eating candies with no fiber in it, or you're having an orange juice that has no pulp, nothing. It's just pure sugar with no fiber, or you're having the raspberries. The raspberries have so much more fibers in there. So when you're gonna eat it, you're gonna process it, the fiber is gonna break down so that your muscles are gonna keep what they need for the glycogen, but you're not gonna gain weight out of those nutrients. This is basically like a free pass. You're getting a free pass by eating something that's higher in fiber. Okay? If you're eating something that has no fiber, then the sugar kicks in, high insulin spike, and then you're more prone to having cravings after, and you're not fulfilled from anything. So that's why you could drink a whole pint of orange juice and you might like feel a little full for like an hour, but then right after you're like, damn it, I'm hungry again. You eat some bread, you might still be hungry again. But if you find something that's very high in fiber, so like like vegetables, some berries, some certain fruits that are high in fiber, even like oats are higher in fiber-ish. There's certain grains that you could eat that are higher in fiber, but ultimately, usually vegetables is what's best. So the last 2 meals of the day will be higher in fat, because now we're away from the workouts. They'll be high in protein. Again, we're at minimum, there should be 30 grams of protein in your meals. No matter how many meals you eat a day, you want to portion your protein pretty equally throughout your day, and there should be 30 to 40 grams in there, minimum. So if you're very lightweight, then maybe 4 meals for you will be enough. Maybe you don't need 5. For me right now, I'm at 160 grams of protein. This is more than my body weight. My body weight is at 127 right now. But this is something I found that worked really good for me. Might be different for you. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps you guys. But this is how this should be. So if you train many times a day, then that's a little more complicated. And that's when you might want to have a coach that supports you in your nutrition. If you train at night, then again, the same principle would apply, but you would just shift around the meals. You might have a heavier fatty breakfast. Again, we're talking about natural fats. We're talking about non-processed food. You gotta get rid of the shit. You gotta get rid of it. It's addictive. Anything, I was listening to Mike Rodura, who was saying that he was quoting a study where if they were giving processed sugar and fat together, and mice were eating themselves to death. So if you're combining that processed sugar and the fat together, they wouldn't be able to stop eating. How are we expected as human to stop eating that shit if mice can do it? Now we're relying on our willpower, but why would you even put yourself through that? Why would you even try to resist temptation? So let's just not put any temptation, and you can do as you want, but the more you touch that crap, the more you touch the processed sugar, the more you touch the alcohol, what's bad for you, what's poison for you, the more you crave it, because it creates bacteria in your gut that's what they feed off. So they say that even if you were to clear out your diet right now, why is it so hard? Because those bacteria in your gut are still there. And what have they been doing for the past month, for the past year, for the past decades? They've been processing the processed sugar that you've been giving to them. They have been processing the sneaker bar. They've been processing the burger. They've been processing those specific foods. So if you remove them from your diet, they'll be like, hey, that's the reason why I'm alive. You need to eat that shit, because otherwise, why am I here? So it takes about 90 days to change your gut bacteria. And for some people, I believe it could be up to a year. So don't touch it. Don't touch it. Just eat what feeds your soul. Eat what makes you happy, what makes you feel alive. And if you stick to those foods, I swear, it's gonna reflect on your body. And I'm just getting started. So, get the meal prep. Do your preparation. So, list out what are the recipes you're gonna do. Select 4 or 5. Keep it easy. It could be some snack. It could be My mom, she only cuts veggies. That's all her meal prep is. She cuts veggies. She cooks a block of tofu. She eats her salad and her veggies with her tofu. That's all it is. Very simple, very easy. You don't need to make complicated recipes like I do. I'm trying to make it simple for you guys, but I also love creating recipes. But you can keep it simple, and I'm going to make sure to guide you through it and also show you how simple recipes can be and still be delicious, so that we don't have to outsource our cravings. We can make them at home. We can make them so that it feeds us and it makes us happy. Take care. Cheers, guys.